Today's guest is the innovator steering the future of real estate tech. Meet Seth Siegler, Chief Innovation Officer at EXP Realty and twice honored Housing Wire Tech trendsetter.
Are you hearing any resistance from agents who might be worried that AI is going to replace them in some way?
You know, for real estate transactions, it's so big, it's so personal, it's so scary for people, potentially pretty stressful transaction.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that AI is going to take that away.
From building iBuyer systems and lead distribution tools to launching the multi-agent AI chatbot Luna 2.0. Seth Siegler doesn't just dream of the future, he builds it.
My X factor is I almost prefer to be in an environment where there's like uncertainty and shakeup.
Okay.
My entire history is in startups and entrepreneurship, like I said. And so I feel much more excited to get down to business. AI makes anything possible. If you put the right technology together, you may make it so everybody is exponentially, better at what they're doing.
All right, Seth, welcome to X Factor Podcast. We're so excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. For those of you who don't know you, tell us a little bit about your background and your journey to becoming the Chief Innovation Officer for EXP.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I kind of grew up in a real estate family.
Mm-hmm.
Even my grandfather was pretty into real estate, and my parents always were also, and kind of bought and sold properties on the side a little bit here and there. My mom was an agent. My parents are both agents now. Mm-hmm. And then when I graduated college, I became an agent. That was my full-time job.
Awesome.
Yeah, even though I was a tech, kind of person, where I was living in Charleston at that time, there wasn't a lot of tech going on, and I wanted to stay in Charleston. And so I knew that business a little bit and tried my hand in it. And so I did that for like 7 years, actually, like full-time ish. And then, but I did a startup on the side. I started my own brokerage, didn't work at all.
Okay.
But the tech I made for that brokerage was like popular with other brokerages in the area. And then they started coming to ask if they could license the property search and some other tools that I had made. And I quickly saw that's the business.
Awesome.
So that became my first startup.
Okay.
Sold that, and then kind of started making my name a little bit in the industry. And and so I moved to San Diego to work at the company that acquired that startup, and I was their CTO for a while, and then went out on my own and did a lot of custom software, worked with a lot of the names in the industry that we know. Mm-hmm. And then did another startup sort of at the tail end of that run called Curb Call. Mm-hmm. And that's actually when I met Glenn.
Founder and CEO.
Glenn, yeah, that's right. I met him at a hackathon where I was building what would become the prototype of Curb Call.
Okay.
And Glenn was just at that hackathon geeking out. It was the very early days of EXP. Mm-hmm. And it was just, we just kind of geeked out, talked about what I was building. He had recently just thought that would be a cool idea anyway. It was sort of the Uber of real estate, at that time, Uber was new, so this was a cool idea.
Yes. I remember always using that phrase at a certain time, right? The Uber of real estate.
It was the Uber of everything at that time, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
And that's where I met Glenn Sanford and just stayed in touch with him. And so Curb Call became a thing, and I was able to get that acquired as well. Mm-hmm. And then went on and did some other stuff for a little while. I had to stay on at that company for a little while. Mm-hmm. And then at some point, EXP had grown quite a bit by that time. And Glenn and I got to talking and found a cool way to work together where I would join EXP and keep thinking startup-ly, but within the ecosystem of EXP. So be able to sort of have a built-in user base.
Okay. So you avoided using the word innovating, but really what Glenn wanted you to do was to keep innovating within the ecosystem of EXP.
Exactly.
So what does a chief innovative chief innovation officer do day to day?
Yeah.
Like what's a typical day in Seth's life look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, so definitely no 2 days. I never know what the day is going to be like in the morning. That's the first thing.
Yeah. Especially these days, but we're going to get into that more.
That's
but
the truth.
What's a typical day look like?
Yeah. So in a nutshell, my job is to look forward. Right. So it's a really exactly what I'd like to do. And it's to look forward and think about what emerging technology, what brand new startups, what brand new ways of doing things in other industries outside of real estate are potentially applicable for what we do here or what we could be doing here to further our ultimate mission of being the best place for any real estate professional to run their business, right? So that's what I do, and I'm always looking, rapid prototyping, meeting other companies, meeting technology providers, and sort of learning about what's next and what's now in other industries, and then really just applying that to what we do here. So these days, that's the only thing to look at is AI. So
is AI,
right? Yeah,
of course, yeah. And we're going to talk lots about that. But I want to just drill into kind of this arc of your personal story a little bit more, because I think it's become an arc of our leadership team's story as well here at EXP, because it really starts with you as a real estate agent first. Yeah. And I think that's part of really the specialness that you bring to your current role. And even before your role, in your ability as an entrepreneur to look at the problems and the challenges that real estate professionals face in their day-to-day and look forward to how can technology solve some of that friction.
Exactly.
And that's what you were doing before EXP in sort of rapid iterations.
That's right.
That led you here.
Exactly. If I ever advise like a new college grad or anything like that, if I ever give anybody advice, I always say that they should learn a business. If they're a technologist, they should learn a business also, so they have that mix of skills, because for sure, I don't think I would be anywhere close to where I am now if I didn't understand the business as somebody who did the business. And that's, first of all, that becomes a source of ideas. And that was always how I did any startup or any custom software or anything like that. Was I knew of all the pain points. And like you said, our whole executive team has had,
boots on the ground, fires in the back seat,
sleepless nights, like mortgage bills coming no matter what, whether the closing happens or not, and they realize the ins and outs of the business, the good and the tough.
Yes.
And so that's always how I always had my got ideas, is because I knew of all these sort of unaddressed frictions and things that could be done better. But now it's still something I rely on, and it helps us all, even if we're not doing it day to day, still understand wow, this change, what this means to how people are working, this type of technology, what it could mean to the way that that everyone out there could be working. I think that's 100% always how I got anywhere.
Yes.
Was because I was somebody that knew how to code, knew how to build, also knew how to be a real estate agent.
Yes. And what did you study in college?
Communications. Yeah. Communications. I was a comm major. I wanted to be a writer.
Yes.
Actually, I was a physics minor to be fair, but did not study computer science at all in college. Self-taught coder.
Self-taught coder.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you started selling real estate and they got interested in the technology side of it to sort of solve some of the problems you were seeing then as a real estate agent.
That's right.
Became a self-taught coder.
I was a self-taught coder from when I was a little kid, actually. Okay. Yeah. So we had an Apple IIc in the 80s.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had an older brother who was super smart, and he was like making programs and stuff on there, and and it was called Basic was the name of the programming language, and so I learned to make some simple games, just from the very beginning, and so I always kept up with that. Many times, though, like I did no coding basically the whole time I was a real estate agent. So I really lost touch with it during that time, which was 2002 to 2008-ish.
Yes.
Right. So a lot happened in tech during that time.
Yeah.
So I did actually have to like re-engage and relearn quite a bit of what was new at that time. And so I learned a programming language at that time and really dove into it called Ruby on Rails to get going. Because when I was making all the tech for my brokerage, I did have to get some help and stuff because I was like out of touch with it.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of like reinvent a little bit because I hated that of not being able to build everything myself. Even though I knew just what I wanted and how to do it, but like the modern coding languages, I had lost touch with a little bit.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So you and Glenn have been obviously leading us into sort of the wave of AI.
Yeah.
And what AI can mean for not only our company as EXP as a company,
right,
but more specifically, our real estate entrepreneurs,
right,
and our agents out doing their jobs every day.
Right. Yeah.
You've been working hand in hand with agents across the country, hundreds of them, in helping them figure out how they can use AI tools in their businesses.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about like how that's been for you, because that has been bringing you into a little bit of a different spotlight in your role.
Yeah. Definitely.
So tell us a little bit about that.
First of all, I love doing that, so it's super fun. I used to love, like my early days at EXP before there was AI everywhere.
Yeah.
We were just making software for different things like express offers and like different stuff. And getting to talk to agents then was cool because it was like an opportunity to talk to your users, right? And that's the best way to learn how they're using it, how they're liking it, and then get to take it back. But now, like you said, this is different, and I get to sort of, talk to agents, talk to team leaders and attractors, and help them learn, kind of just about building blocks, right? Like AI that we're talking about to them is like, these are some things to do with it that it can do. Here's some examples, but then they get to take that into how they operate their individual businesses. And it's so cool to see what they do with what they took from the talk or the training or whatever, and then see what they actually build with it. I love that kind of thing.
Are you hearing any resistance from agents who might be worried that AI is going to replace them in some way or change their relationship with clients?
Yeah, and not necessarily resistance, but fear for sure, and that's totally understandable. There's just plenty of talk about AI will do this, AI will do that, and
what's your perspective on that?
That'll never happen, right? Yeah. So I think if anything, and we can see a little bit of this already, where on a lot of social media, it's all everybody's posts are getting to be AI generated, and you immediately feel this loss of authenticity, and so you can see when somebody puts up something genuine. A video of themselves that's clearly really them, writing that's really clearly from them, something personal and authentic. It explodes in reactions and engagement. Yeah. And people they want that and they need that. And for real estate transactions, it's so big, it's so personal, it's so scary for people for the most part. It's so infrequent. It becomes more important, becomes more valuable to be in person, to be holding someone's hand through this, potentially pretty stressful transaction, right? And so that part of the business, there's no way that AI is going to take that away, right? Real estate agents, human real estate agents aren't going anywhere, but regular real estate agent, I don't say human, but
as opposed to the robot,
right? That's right. real estate broker, agents, brokers, team leaders, everybody, professionals in the business, they can leverage AI to gain advantage though. Right. They can scale themselves. They can scale their team. They can uncover new opportunities, new niches. They can be doing more than they ever could before, where, certainly you have to focus on whatever your niche is, but it becomes possible to have an expanded niche or multiple niches and multiple different ways of prospecting and everything under the sun. But, being in front of a person, talking to a person, a consumer, buyer or seller, helping them, getting on the phone and talking to them, using your expertise and having people be sort of grateful for that. That just doesn't change. If anything, it becomes more valuable.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if for our listeners or watchers that maybe haven't had the benefit of being at one of your masterminds or haven't been following along on your social media, which follow along in his social media, it's great. Giving him a plug there.
All right.
How would you recommend that they start engaging with AI first as a real estate professional?
It's a great question. Yeah. I'd say the most important thing is to just jump in. And don't put it off. Don't wait.
Where should I jump in?
Yeah. So something basic like ChatGPT, there's a lot to be gained to just asking it, how it can help.
So ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, just say like, I don't even know where to start. Be like, I'm an AI noob, and I run a real estate business. This is what I do. This is where I work. Yeah. This is what our team looks like, or if it's just me, and this is how many transactions I do. These are the things that take me a long time. How can you help me? How can other AI help? Right, and it can start just like that. Right, there's no need to wait to take a course or watch a video or say I'm going to dig into it tonight when I have time. We never have time, right? So it could just be as easy as that, to just break the ice, and then you may start gaining some traction with it.
Okay.
That said, there's also a lot of opportunity in, it sounds crazy, but being able to build your own software. Yeah. That sounds nuts, but it is possible. Even basic websites, single property websites for a specific customer, website for a
Tell us a little bit about what you're seeing across the EXP organization with citizen developers and what's happening. It's incredible. I mean, I get to be a part of it every day, but I would love it if you could share from your vantage point what is happening.
It's wild. So I'll preface it by saying this is the part of the day that's the least predictable, because invariably somebody will come to me with something they built.
Yes.
And it blows my mind. So we have access to tools now. Everybody has access to tools like this.
And everybody being?
Every staff member has access.
At EXP.
At EXP has access, as they don't have to personally pay for it. Yeah. But even if you're a real estate entrepreneur out there, and or literally anybody, if you're running a business, you can get very inexpensive access to tools like lovable.dev, which is a tool that lets you just talk or type what you want it to build. And I'm talking a website, a software application, that can have users and whatever, payments, anything. Anything under the sun, you just talk to it and it writes all the code and builds it. Right. It takes practice to get to use.
Yes.
But not a lot.
Not a lot.
Yeah. And so there's tools like that out there. Lovable works with a companion piece of software or service called Supabase. And then there's stuff like that where you can just kind of start using it. There's even things that are totally free. Google has a new thing that just came out in beta yesterday called Opal. Okay. And that is something where if you've ever used something like Zapier, where you build kind of like integrations, there's sort of a more AI-ish version of that now that's gained a lot of traction called N8.
My best friend.
Your best friend?
I love it. I love it so much.
That's the thing.
It gives me such joy.
That's the thing I see the most impressive builds coming out of. People have just run with that. And that lets you build what is the beginning of
it's
what's
magic,
right?
Like
right.
that I, right, a non-coder, like non-techie person can create with that.
It's incredible. It really is.
It
really is. And that, I mean, that lets you, basically start with an idea that like, I want somebody to be able to email in or use ChatGPT or something, right? And then it will do something in some other system, do something in other system, call an AI to like write some passage or a blog post or something, and then like post it, right? You can
the whole workflow for this podcast could be an end-to-end workflow.
Could be an end-to-end.
We've been talking about setting that up, and it will be built probably before this podcast that we're recording is live.
Well, and that's what's so cool. And then, so that's so achievable now by non-technical people.
Yes.
And those are the people that have the best ideas because they're doing another type of business that faces challenges. Right. People that are coding have coding challenges. Right. And there's innovation there too with AI. But people that have a business challenge would normally have to go to a coder, to a technology team.
Let's go back to something you just said. You said on Friday, Google released, was it called Opal?
It's called Opal. Yeah.
So how do you know what Google did on Friday?
Yeah. So, so and Opal is like an even easier to use version of N8N basically.
I guess I'm so pushing in on
how do I keep up?
Yeah, because you mentioned like part of your job is to like be always forward thinking, but you have a pretty direct line into some pretty big organizations like OpenAI, Google. Like, so tell us a little bit about like how does that happen? Like, Mr. Chief Innovation Officer.
It's a really good question.
It's a pretty it's a pretty key thing.
Because there is almost, even though it is like a huge part of my job, there's almost no way to keep up with everything. There's such a flow of new startups coming out and new big companies like Google and stuff like releasing things like this. But one of the nice things about being a big company
is that one of the huge advantages I think we at EXP have is having you and what you're about to share with us.
And those companies have we're a good, not a target, I don't want to say a target. We're a good potential customer, right? For all things new that come out at OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and anything else basically. Even like Palantir or Salesforce, like companies like that. So when they have a new AI offering or something that is somehow even remotely touching AI, oftentimes they'll come to us, even if it's in beta, even if it's in labs, even if it's something that's not even out yet, they'll come to us to learn about any challenges or needs that, that we have, how we are looking, our appetite for innovation. And they're always pretty happy to hear it's here. Our appetite for innovation is on
pretty high.
Here. Thanks. That comes from Glenn, right? That's the it's not a mandate, it's the opportunity, and so companies like that, like I said, they will come to us. Oftentimes they'll be willing to even build a prototype for us in certain cases. And this is a huge advantage for a company that's scaled to our size here at EXP, is that we have, not only will they take our calls, they'll call us, right? And so, we've been lucky enough, Glenn and I have been up to OpenAI a couple times now, to Google a couple times. We'll be going to some of the other ones I mentioned as well.
You have a pretty cool job, Seth. There's no doubt about that.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
What's one of the most rewarding projects that you've gotten to work on recently?
It's it's a little bit of kind of what we were saying, where I get to evangelize this a little bit, if that's the right term. It's not really training. It's more of showing a little bit what's possible and just planting a seed of an idea for people. And then it's so rewarding to see people get excited. First of all, a lot of times as a technical person talking to business people, a lot of times that's a glaze over situation.
Yes.
The audience is like, when is the next person coming up? But when you talk about AI and you show this stuff that like you all now are empowered to build your own software, you all now have unlimited access to PhD level intelligence, to help you out in anything you want. Rightfully so, agents and staff, every single person involved in EXP in any role,
Yes.
for the most part, are really excited to hear about that and then to see what they go off and do and come back to me. A lot of days I wake up, a lot of Slack messages.
Yeah.
And a good chunk of those are something about like, look what I built.
I know. I sent you those messages myself.
I love getting them. That's
super cool.
It's super rewarding.
And I've seen, sitting in our masterminds with our agents and, I've seen those light bulbs go off and I've seen them build as they're listening to you talk and say like, I did this. I just on Friday was talking through a situation with like one of the members of my team where I was like, you know what? Like we could solve this with Lovable.
Totally.
And 2 hours later, I got a message with like her sharing the Lovable project where like she had built it. And like it's amazing that that's just happening like every single day. So
it really is, and part of what I've been doing the last 4 or 5 months also is helping out on our international side. Mm-hmm. And Glenn started the momentum there on the sort of activating everybody with AI, but every single person there is building, and with like new country launches and surprise country launches and things like that, they're able to build what they need, almost top to bottom, with subject matter experts. And so they're building, because they're subject matter experts, they're building exactly what they need to do in exactly that situation, in exactly that country. And it's incredible.
Yeah, it is super cool.
The pace that we're able to move now as a result of that is unthinkable. Just a couple of years ago, a year ago.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So the name of the podcast is X Factor.
Uh-huh.
And a question I ask every guest is, what do you think your personal X Factor is? Mm-hmm. What's that special Seth X Factor that makes you unique and is part of your brand?
Oh man, that's a good question. I should have brushed up on that. Let's see. So I guess if I had to think about that right now, which I do. So
you do. That's right. Putting you on the spot with that one.
I think that my X factor is that I almost prefer to be in an environment where there's like uncertainty and shake up.
Okay.
My entire history is in startups and entrepreneurship, like I said. And so I feel much more excited to get down to business. I feel much more excited when we're like, we're kind of all underdogs, now, if in some way that like everything is shaken up. AI makes anything possible. If you put the right technology together, you may make it so everybody is exponentially, better at what they're doing.
I like that.
And, and you get pulled into a meeting and at some point and you discover like, okay, here's the situation. What can we do, to turn this into a good thing?
Yeah.
And I love that. That's
a great X factor, to be able to thrive and find comfort in discomfort, perhaps, for many people. Is definitely an X factor quality.
I'll take it then.
You'll take it. Good job. The marketing person gave
I like this.
in there.
You said it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Seth, thank you for joining us today. And thank you for leading innovation and just for bringing like so much thoughtful, like just leadership in what you do to all of us at EXP. It's just such a pleasure to work with you.
Thanks, Wendy. Likewise. Thank you so much.